Within my first 6 months of doing sales, I have booked meetings with CEOs, CTOs, founders that have then closed into multi-thousand-dollar deals, with one of these deals being the fastest to close in company history, as well as generating over $1.5 million in pipeline in those 6 months. So I want to go over this video and tell you more about how I did that. So the strategy to how I've done this is essentially get in front of hard to reach people. And once you get in front of these people and you grab their attention, because of how important their time is to them, the reason that you got their attention is because it's exactly what they need at that moment, and essentially they sell to themselves at that point. So I want to talk more about how this works. I have my notes here. That's why I'm looking down. But basically, you have to be very cognizant of the type of people you are working with. So my favorite way to look at this is through startups. So not looking at the CEO of Walmart or Target. Those people are pretty hard to read. But startup founders are actually the very much opposite. And the reason that they have to be is because when you are a startup founder, you need to be raising money and be very ambitious and transparent with how you want to do this and how you're going to do this. And so that's the exact motivations that you need to know in order to then talk to these people. Like, the world has enabled us in this digital age to, as a customer, be as close to a CEO or a founder as a retweet or a DM away. And so that's really why you're going to be able to do this today, which you weren't able to do 10 years ago. Okay, so the first thing, you need to be in their spaces. And so I don't mean like their literal Discord or going to their office, but you need to be following the people that they follow, the VCs that they're tracking or have already been funded by, following the market like they would be as looking into their competitors. So when someone is building a business, they need to be very hyper aware of who is already out there and who is building the features that their customers or their future customers want. So if you're truly obsessed with a startup or a company or whatever and you want to sell to them, you need to follow the people they're following. You need to stalk the VCs the same way that they would stalk them. Just understand their competitors as well and understand why they are getting funded. So like, I will bring in more examples of this. Like, nowadays products are moving away from the SaaS model and following the FDE model. You need to be aware of why this is happening. You should be researching that. Are people or are agents using products nowadays? You should be looking into that, and what companies are getting ready for this change and how can you help enable this change. So it also helps you know more of like a product market fit of where you stand, and when you're selling, you have to constantly be asking yourself that question in order to answer that question for them. So what's the next step after you follow all these people and get all this information? So you should be reaching them through every channel necessary multiple times. So when you reach these individuals, you have a balance of generic and hyper-specific. I think when typical YouTubers are talking about being hyper-specific in their messages, they are talking about the result is just like a resume-worthy message, just being regurgitated back to that prospect. That should not be what you're doing. So you want to cater these messages to have an in-between of, this is a casual business email with, this is why I thought of you today. So my first touch, honestly, how I like to do it is my subject line is ultra specific, where I will like do a literal quote, or I'll be like, their company, our company. But then after that, the actual body of the email is pretty simple, and you can skim it on your phone really easily. So let's say they ghost you. Let's say you send this first touch and they ghost you. So now for the second part, you're gonna want to have some marketing to play off of yourself. So where I would do this if I was having my own company is I would have some blogs, some videos of myself speaking at events or conferences on specific talks, or specialized demos of the product. And oh my gosh, I'm like literally getting mosquito bite being formed on camera live. But basically, the reason why is because this is material that you want to be able to send to someone when they ghost you, in order to be like, hey, like here's further additional value that I can bring to you. And it's basically like Alex Hormozy, it's like a lead magnet. But like, how do you create this content? Like, how do you know what type of content you want to make? So you need to understand, what is your audience even doing? So if you are trying to go for nerdy engineers, you are having to make nerdy engineer content. Let's say one of your prospects happens to be a Rust developer who loves doing Rust projects in their spare time. You should have equally nerdy as content being an open source project that enables Rust developers, or a Rust opinionated blog on your own. Okay, so now these are just small helpful tips that I learned along the way. You found the right company, you found the right person. Now with contacting them, when it's the right company, do not be shy about contacting anyone that you can, honestly. If they find you annoying for hitting up their entire team, then at least they are talking about you. And if anything, that just shows persistence. And sorry, you know, a business email is a business email. We're not really just here to be friends. As long as you aren't sending them stupid messages or genuinely spamming them, spamming as in sending dumb shit, or they haven't blocked you, just keep going at it. Now you found the right person. So in this day and age, a personalized email to me seems like the highest form of flattery. An email that can give them content plus a CTA, content that is valuable to them, as well as a CTA to have more time with your team, it's a great pull. It makes them feel like you're a smart person for sending a resource, as well as having a smart team backing you up, which makes them feel smart as well. But this also only works if you genuinely do like your company, you do genuinely like the product, and you genuinely think this is going to help them. Because if you have a shitty product with a shitty team, then no one gives a fuck about meeting your team. So yeah, like you can also find their profile from really any source. Like, you can get really creative about it. I mean, I know there's X, there's LinkedIn, there's personal emails, but you can, if it's developers you're going after, maybe look at their GitHubs, maybe look at their Stack Overflows, maybe look at like Reddit threads, Kaggle, stuff like that. So then, you know, you have all these things and you just want to keep on repeating the process. So it's best to find 3 high quality contacts than 10 low quality contacts, because as I said in the beginning, once you catch their attention, because their attention is so precious to them, they can make a decision very quickly about if they want something or if they don't. And most of the time, if you already got them, then they do. So yeah, they will just, they're some of the hard to reach people are some of the most laser focused people ever. And it really is, it can be both luck, but also skill in getting in front of these people and having them reply to you again. So yeah, that's basically my tips and tricks on how to get in touch with hard to reach people, but also get scarily good at it.